What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sunday Sips. Today we're going to talk about anxiety, and there's going to be no cuts in this one because this is something that I know very well. I don't need any help here. But before I dive into it, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, maybe even consider subscribing, and for that, I'll put up a picture of my bunny on the screen. You know, most people wouldn't expect a person my age to have a bunny, and to be fair, I don't have her anymore, but we did have Daisy for a lot of years. So yeah, she was very special to me, and I loved her very much. Anyways, today I'm sipping on Monster Energy Rehab Peach Tea. This is sort of like, it's a non-carbonated, what they would call recovery beverage. I don't know. I've had it a couple times, so let me try it again. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. It just tastes like peach, almost unsweetened iced tea. And it looks like it has 160 milligrams of caffeine, so it'll put a pep in your step for sure. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I really like this. But anyways, let's talk about anxiety, and more specifically, how I manage mine. Now, I'm not going to get into why my anxiety started. The basic overview of it is about 12 or 13 years ago, there was a fluke incident that happened that kicked all this off for me. And it's one of those butterfly effect things where sometimes I do wonder, if that never happened, would I struggle with anxiety today? And I don't know, and I don't care, because the reality is I do struggle with it. So I try and look forwards when possible. But the way my anxiety manifests itself is primarily physical sensations, like my heart pounds 24/7, and it's honestly subconscious at this point. I mean, I've struggled with anxiety for so long that I don't even consciously realize that I'm stressing about certain things. My body just sort of has been programmed to have that, what I call fight or flight light. And I feel like I'm actually not in the minority here, to be honest with you. I think this is actually very prevalent. And if you struggle with anxiety yourself, I think you're in the majority, not the minority. Look, a lot of my anxiety is centered around things that I can't control. So I worry that I'm going to drop dead of a heart attack. I still worry that my siblings are going to get kidnapped. I worry that I'm going to get fired from my job for no reason. And for a long time, this was a really paralyzing and helpless feeling, because when you're worrying about things you can't control, there's sort of an implicit assumption in that you can't do anything to stop it, right? Like if I'm going to have a heart attack and die, that's going to happen to me regardless of what I try and do. You might argue you could eat healthy or go to the gym, but in my mind, it was like, look, things are going to happen to me and there's nothing I can do to stop the bad things. And it was pretty hard for a while. It never got to the point where it was completely paralyzing or gripped my life in such a way that it stopped me from doing the things that I needed to do. But it's a very, very uncomfortable feeling. And if you struggle with this, I'm sure you can agree that if we didn't have anxiety, we would be superhuman, right? I feel like if I didn't have to worry about this on a day-to-day, I'd be able to be double as productive. But again, I'm here. You know, this is the lot I've been given, and it could be way worse. So the way that I tried to kind of reframe this, given the fact that my anxiety focuses on things I can't control, I started to try and figure out a few things that I could control that I would try and do every day. So for me, that took the form primarily of fitness. Now, I know what you're going to say. Everybody says, okay, fitness cures anxiety. It's proven, running releases endorphins, etc. But I'm not necessarily talking about the validation that you get going to the gym and releasing some of that stress. What I'm talking about is the fact that my fears derive from things I couldn't control. And so I decided that every day I'm going to prove to myself that I'm in control. And if there's one thing I know that I can do every day, it's get to the gym. And so for me, it was less about the gains and more about the affirmation to myself that I choose to control at least one thing in my life. And when I felt like everything was spiraling out of control, those gym sessions were ways for me to restabilize myself. There are other things that I'm doing right now that help me affirm control in my life, such as these YouTube videos. It's like my work schedule might be crazy during the week, and I might be nervous that I'm going to get fired. And I might be nervous that my stock portfolio is going to go to zero. But I do know that every week I can put out 2 videos. And I do that every time. And there is nothing that's going to take my agency in those 2 areas of my life away. And so to anybody else that might be struggling with this, I'm sure you have your own ways of coping. Maybe it involves medication. If it does, just make sure to be responsible about it. And if it doesn't, I'm hoping you have other healthy ways to deal with this. One of the things that might help might be figuring out ways that you can control little areas of your day. And I'm not saying it has to be fitness. The point of this video is not go to the gym if you're anxious about something. The point is find something that is a voluntary act that you enjoy but have to choose to do on a somewhat frequent basis. For me, it was the gym. For you, it might be painting or journaling or, I don't know, cooking. But it has to be something that you wouldn't do unless you chose to do it. And try to be mindful of the fact that when you're doing these things, you're choosing to do them. Like, this is your life. Your anxiety's not in control. You are in control. And so, look, just to close this video out, I just want to say that if you're out there and struggling with anxiety or OCD or any form of mental health, I just want to acknowledge that and say that I'm proud of you. It is not always easy for us to get up every day and do the things that we need to do while we struggle with certain things that others don't. But with that said, we are going to continue to achieve the things that we want to achieve. We are going to continue to push ourselves. We are going to continue to find joy in the little things. And I know I try to be lighthearted on this channel and joke, and I hope that you guys get a kick out of it. But this stuff is real, and I felt like I wanted to come on and acknowledge it because it's a really big part of my life. But anyways, I love you all. I'll see you next week. And cheers, guys.